All right, welcome back to the Believe in Jets podcast. My name is Rami Lavi. That's Bilal Powell. And we got to start here because I've talked about this on the show, but I haven't gotten your thoughts on this. So Aaron Rodgers missed minicamp. Bilal, is it a big deal or is it not a big deal?
I think it's a big deal. Yep. I do
agree.
think it's a big deal. Like you have to
Tell us
show up.
why.
You have to because you have only a certain amount of reps that you have in between now and when it's real football. And every day that you're not there, those repetitions that are missed are a problem, especially when you have a new receiver coming in, Mike Williams, a guy you're trying to bring in to complement Garrett Wilson. It's all about timing. It's all about precision. All those come with repetition. So this guy, I think, needs to be at minicamp. Like, he's a veteran. I understand it. You come, you show up, you show your face. The $100,000 fine probably is not going to do a dent to his pockets, but it's the principle behind it and why you show up and why you have to do that from a leadership standpoint.
Exactly. And there's nothing more important than football. That's got to be the message that you're sending. And right now, Aaron Rodgers is sending a message that football is secondary to everything else in his life. And if you're sending that message in June, then what's going to happen in September, October, November? It sets a bad precedent for the whole season.
Now, was it a legitimate reason for the absence behind?
See, nobody knows, but it was, quote, inexcused, which is not a real word. It's unexcused, according to Robert Saleh. So he's getting the fine, right? But they knew about it beforehand. So who knows what it was? I have no idea. It was a prearranged thing, apparently, before the dates came out. But, like, I don't know, you're Aaron Rodgers. Like, is it something that you can move?
I mean, it sounds like this player-coach relationship is starting to become a buddy thing. It's almost like they're friends.
Well,
or something, man. Like I mean, it's weird. It comes across as like a real, true friendship between the head coach and the starting quarterback.
Well, they're friends until Aaron Rodgers says, "I'm done with you. Goodbye." Like, Rodgers is running the show. That's the problem. We talked about this. So, like, it's not even that they're friends. Like, from Robert Saleh's perspective, it's like, I better be friends with this guy or I'll be out the door. Hey, look, his friend Nate Hackett has job security, right? His friend Nate Hackett is terrible and he still has a job because he's his friend. So,
but he's barely on the rope, though. He's on the tightrope.
Is he? Like, I mean, I know we saw those reports, but, like, is he really? Aaron Rodgers is just going to hold on to him as long as he wants to, right? So, like, I'd love to be Aaron Rodgers' friend. I'd have a job on the Jets right now.
Yeah, I mean, I need to give him a call, see if I can.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be playing running back. He brought in Alan Lazard. He brought in Randall Cobb. He'd bring you in.
Yeah,
You're probably young. Are you younger than Randall Cobb? You're probably younger than Randall Cobb.
We came in the same year.
Oh, okay. So you're the same age exactly as Randall Cobb. I was looking it up, but yeah, you're the same age as Randall Cobb. You could have played running back for them last year if Rodgers wanted you. You don't think so?
I think Cobb's a little more, he's better shape than I am.
What do you mean? You told me that you could give us a few snaps.
Well, yeah, I guess he did that. Yeah, I could come in and do that. Absolutely. Yeah, short yardage.
How good do I look in that helmet, by the way? I sent you that picture in the new black Jets helmet. Come on, I look pretty.
I like it.
It's pretty fire, right?
If they have a tryout, you have to go.
I should go wearing the helmet.
The helmet, yes. Go wearing.
I'll ask my boss if I could take the helmet because it's in one of the studios as like a prop. The Jets sent it to us, so I'll ask my boss if I could take the helmet and go to training camp and just walk around wearing the helmet as a representative of WFAN. Speaking of WFAN and being in shape, I saw Tiki Barber eating a donut yesterday. And I said to him, I was like, Tiki, you look like an Adonis. How are you eating that donut? And he told me that he ran 5 miles that morning, and then he proceeded to do push-ups during every commercial break. I was like, okay, so that makes sense why you're eating one single donut, because he ran 5 miles in the morning and did push-ups every single commercial break and still looks like a god. So now I know the trick. If you run 5 miles and do push-ups like constantly, you could have a donut once in a while. Is that how it works?
I mean, not for me. I don't even like donuts, man. But if I do like to cheat and do a little cheat meal, man, it's maybe 1 or 2 bites, and then I'm out. I can't just go ahead and do all this binge eating and do trash stuff, and then sit there and lay and be like, man, I shouldn't have did that. Now I got to go on this treadmill for an extra 30 minutes to burn it off. It doesn't come off like it used to.
Oh yeah. What's a cheat meal for you?
Uh, Man, a cheat meal for me may be like a crazy dessert. Like
Oh, so you are like a sweet tooth guy.
yeah, I'm a sweet tooth guy for real. Yes, I
Because like
mean,
a cheat meal for me, like I just want like a big sandwich, like something. You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
want some like I'm not a sweet tooth guy as much as I mean I like candy. That's the problem.
yeah,
Not dessert, but like candy. Candy is the worst.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
Oh,
it.
absolutely. For me, I'm telling you, any kind of candy or sweets, like I'm a key lime pie guy. So if you got that on the menu,
I
just
got
go ahead
you.
and bring it out. You could bring that out before, before the appetizer.
What do you? So I see. You go out with the wife and stuff. What do you order? What do you get at restaurants?
It depends. What I'm in the mood for. I'm a big seafood guy,
Okay,
so I usually order a lot of fish,
so like a lot of
um,
protein.
a lot of protein. I mean,
Got
like I don't eat bad. I'm just not working out as much as I used to. I was never a horrible eater, like pub food, like you know what I mean, like fries and fried foods, and I was never that guy.
I
So
told my father, I was like, I could not possibly be eating worse than I'm eating right now. So like any improvement would be good for my life, you know?
and just stay active. Honestly, man, if you stay
Yeah,
active, you can eat whatever you want.
I started walking every day on the West Side Highway. I leave work and now in the summer it's so nice outside. I walk up and down like the water on the Hudson and it's just so nice. It's hot outside. They have like these chairs lined up where you just sit and tan. It's pretty awesome out there. So I've been doing that. So just moving around during work a little bit, like leaving.
What street is your studio on? Where's the
We're on
studio?
Hudson. We're on Hudson. We're on Hudson. We're like like a 5-10 minute walk from the World Trade Center. So
Okay.
we're a little bit further uptown from the World Trade Center.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I walk down there and then it's great. Anyway, the Jets report to camp in July 23rd. So we're about a month away. So that should be pretty fun. Uh,
Is that early?
they're like one of the earlier ones, but
Yeah.
everyone's reporting like between July 23rd and the 26th.
Okay.
And look, they got to get it together. And one guy, I don't know if he's going to be at camp, is Haason Reddick. Haason Reddick is holding out. And the report came out this week that when they made the trade for him, they specifically said, Haason, we know there's no contract in place. Let's operate in good faith. You come to training camp, we'll work on an extension. And he said, yes, I'll be there no matter what. And then training camp came around, mini camp happened, and he didn't show up because he didn't have a contract. I don't know if we're going to see this guy play for the Jets this year.
I mean, what is his range? What is his asking range? Is it around like 28? I know he's going to be a top paid guy in his position. So you
Yeah,
have to
but
look
the
at those
reason he's
guys.
older, the reason they didn't pay Bryce Huff was because they brought him in because they wanted to pay less, right? Haason Reddick, theoretically, they were going to pay less guaranteed money than a guy like Bryce Huff. And I think Haason Reddick is better. But now if you're having to give him a contract, it doesn't make sense. Like I believe that the Jets honestly thought that they were going to get away without having to give him a massive extension. And so now if he's holding out, I don't think he's going to play for this team.
That's going to be tough. I mean, they're going to have to work something because he's going to be a valuable piece on the defense. So you got to do in some factors. You got to look at the top guys who are getting paid. I think at his position, you're talking about $30 million, and that's half of what he's going to go out there and line up and play. So you have to find a way to compensate. You have to compromise. You have to meet him in the middle. You have to say, "Hey, can you do this?" And then we can figure it out after the season. And then after the season, I don't think that guy's going to be a New York Jet. I think he's a one and done this year if he does decide to play.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part. This is like a real blemish on Joe Douglas. I know we talk so much about how great Joe Douglas is, but if he had this guy's word, and I don't know how that works. Like he had his word that he'd show up. Like you know this, you've played in the league. Like if you give me my word that you'll show up without a new contract and then you don't show up, you weren't there when Revis held out, right? That was the year before.
That was the year before. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure people have held out when you were there. But like, okay, like, what's your word worth anyway? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like if you want a new contract, you're going to get a new contract.
And let's back up as a player, former player, Rami. This is a business where, as players, we hear promises, we hear all these things, and it's completely opposite. Like,
Right.
when it's come times to make that decision, everything that was promised could go completely opposite of what was said. And we have to now look at it as a business. Guys are looking at it as a business, especially when you're on that back end of your career. Everything has to be structured as a business because it's a numbers game. Not only are they trying to get guys for cheaper, but they're trying to get guys out of there who are veterans, seasoned veterans. Like they're trying to control that age gap. They're trying to control the money as far as can they find a younger guy who can do what you do, if not better, somewhat close, then they're going to take that guy. But as a player, you have to look at this as a business. You made your promise just like they're going to make their promises. And in the end, it all comes down to who folds first. Who's going to fold first? And I'm not sure if the Jets can afford to fold first in this situation based on the numbers that he would be receiving this year for the guy in his position.
And I'll throw another wrinkle in there. He's a lame duck right now, Joe Douglas, meaning if the Jets are not successful this year, we've already talked about it, he might be gone. And in that case, maybe Woody's telling him, I can't have you giving out 3-year, huge contracts to older players when you might not even be here after this year. This is a one and done shot for the Jets. And so my point is that maybe he doesn't even have the right to go out and give this huge contract.
Yeah, and I think this year is one of those make or breaks.
Yeah.
Previously, we talked about, if he wins, or I think this is like it should be if they do not win a certain amount of games around a certain amount of time, then you just have to clear house during the season. You have to let everyone, as an owner, you have to let everyone know that, okay, I care about my players. I'm here for my players. I'm paying my players all this money and we're not being successful. So Woody Johnson, do you care about the players? That's the real question. And he's starting to be interactive with the players. I mean, this is the most active I've ever seen Woody with players.
Yeah, definitely on
even
social
the time
media.
that I've been there. Even the time that I've been there. So now it's all about, okay, my players are not winning. We have the roster. Now we just have to get the right pieces. And I just feel like that piece hasn't been found quite yet. And maybe it has. And maybe there's one little ring-a-dink that needs to be moved, and it will be exposed this year.
Well, one of those wrinkles that they've brought in is Tarik Cohen, who is a former running back or a current running back who's had issues staying healthy. But I think they really brought him in. We've talked about a veteran presence in the running back room. I think he'll help there. The other thing is you and I have been on this since week 3 last year. Xavier Gibson, that was fun. He had the opening punt return on opening night for the touchdown to win the game. He hasn't been that guy, though. We were never comfortable with him back there. So now they brought in a veteran with the new rules who can compete back there at the punt and kick return position. What do you think of the Tarik Cohen signing?
I mean, I would expect to go get someone. Has he played? He didn't play. Has he been injured? I'm just trying.
So that's the story. Whenever he's played, he's been good, but he's been so injured that he's missed so much time. Let me get up the actual numbers for you. I'll pull them up. But yeah, when he's played, he's been really good. The problem is he's been hurt.
He's been hurt and he's undersized. I don't think he's going to bring that same explosion that we've seen from him in the past, just due to the injuries. And now
he hasn't played since 2020.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, I don't understand.
But he's only like 20. He's only like 27, 28 years old, and he's only
when you don't play football for 4
seasons.
years, when you don't play football for 4 years, you lose a step. I don't care who you are or what athlete you are. Any athlete that doesn't play in their profession for 4 years, you come back and you lose a step. Like basketball, baseball, like boxing, like all of these sports, like you lose a step. And I just don't see this guy coming in being a game changer. I don't know what relationship there is between him and whoever brought him in or decided to bring him in, but I just don't see him being the guy that can really push Gibson to be a better player.
One thing's for sure, though. if they give him number 29, you and I are rioting, right? We're going down there. I'll put my Jets helmet on. I'm going to take a sign and I'm going to start a protest.
Hey, go ahead, man. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I won't say a word, but I don't think they'll give him 29. I don't think so. I would hope
Somebody's
not.
already worn it, by the way. I
Somebody
saw
did.
who did?
Joyner,
One of their
didn't Joyner
safety-
wore it a couple years ago?
Their
The
safety
safety?
last year wore it. I don't know who
Yeah.
it was, but I was like, come on, man. Because I was watching somebody posted like DJ Reed highlights, and I see the safety coming over and I see 29. I'm like, oh, come on. Anyway, but I didn't even remember that somebody wore it. But yeah. You like the new uniforms though. That 29 would look good in the new uniforms.
I'm gonna call them and ask for the white one, the white and green.
Yeah, you got to get one. You mentioned guys who are playmakers and difference makers. Well, Dan Orlovsky, obviously we know who he is, talked about how the key to an Aaron Rodgers offense when he won those MVPs was yards after catch. And when you and I talked right after the draft, the guy we obviously talked about for yards after catch and yards after carry or yards after contact was Malachai Corley. How much of a game changer do you think, specifically based on what Orlovsky said, that's going to have to be a key factor for this Jets offense? How much do you think Corley can contribute in that area in his rookie year?
I think that with the way Aaron played in Green Bay, getting the ball out fast at the line of scrimmage, those two are going to be that dual dynamic. They're definitely going to be able to bring a different dynamic. In a sense of we haven't seen that in New York. We haven't seen a receiver that can catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and go be explosive and turn a 1-yard catch into a 15-yard gain. We haven't seen that. It wasn't schemed around that. So to bring him in to fit what Aaron likes to do, get the ball out, and he's going to have to be on the same page because a lot of those things are pretty much what you call hot routes when the blitz comes and they're trying to beat the blitzer with the pass. So they're going to have to be on the same page. There's going to have to be a lot of communication with him being a young receiver. And then you're going to have to be able to find a way to keep your dudes quiet. You still have two very talented offensive players in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. So at what point do you go in saying how many touches do all of these guys get before there's some kind of tension? Or are they all selfless guys and they just want to win football?
It's hard to say because at this point, we see everyone acting for themselves. And guess who's leading it? Aaron Rodgers, right? If he's not going to show up to camp, it all comes back to that, though. Like, I talked about when I did one of the solo shows, I was talking about how, like, the whole year we're going to have this anxiety about it, where, like, even if he does play well, we're always going to be waiting for something bad to happen because of everything that's happened. Like, and how's that good? That's terrible for our mental health as Jets fans. Like, constantly, like you said last year, like holding your breath, like we did with Zach Wilson, waiting for something bad to happen. Like it's not a way to watch football.
I just want to know, is there anyone on the team that will go up and hold Aaron Rodgers accountable?
No.
Like, is there anyone?
No.
I want to know, like, how I want to know if there's a player on the team that could go up. The only person that I can think of is Quinnen.
I was thinking CJ.
Maybe CJ, but will they? Are those guys on their phone texting Aaron right now, calling Aaron saying, "Hey, you need to be here"?
Here's two things. They're both on the defensive side, and they're both younger than him. Like, Quinnen's a young guy. CJ's a veteran, but he's still only like 32 years old.
Yeah, but they're in a position where they're stamped in that organization. And like you said, what has Aaron done for the organization? What has he done?
Nothing.
Like, we get he's the guy he was in Green Bay, but if you're trying to win in the organization, you have to be, as a leader, you have to be held accountable. So,
well, we know Robert Saleh's not holding him accountable.
Exactly. So if he's not doing it, then I know the players aren't doing it. So
exactly,
he's going to continue to do what he wants to do. And I told you this, like, our first time speaking on Aaron coming to New York. I told you, I said this is going to be very interesting because in the times I was there, the times that I was keeping up with New York Jets, they didn't have that quarterback that pretty much had that control, quote unquote control. And now having that control, will he be held accountable? And I think the accountability has to come from the head coach. Like, I guarantee you, Bill Belichick kept Tom Brady in check. It was like, no matter if you're Tom Brady or not, you're going to be in check. Can Robert Saleh go up to Aaron Rodgers, call him on the phone and say, hey, man, you really, really need to be here? But instead, he finds a way to make an excuse in the media. Just, oh, it was on excuses. It was that sounds like a friendship. And sometimes being a player coach, you have to have that balance, because at the end of the day, it's your team. You know, even though it's supposed to be player led, coaches, that's your team.
Yeah, and right now there is none of that accountability. Speaking of Belichick keeping people accountable, he's got to start holding that girlfriend of his accountable. 24-year-old girlfriend, she's leaking out all these things. She's sending screenshots of text messages. There's pictures of them on a boat. The ring camera video of him coming out of the house. He signed her textbook. Okay, he's 70-something years old.
First, I thought he was married. He's not married?
What? He's not married. He had a long-time girlfriend. He had a long-time girlfriend. Okay. And then he broke up with her because he met this 24-year-old cheerleader. At the time, she was 22, on a plane. And now he has a 24-year-old girlfriend. So they're about 50 years apart. What's like your cutoff for you? You think 50 years is too much?
That's a haul. That's
an age gap.
That's a gap, man. I don't think I've seen one that wide.
Well, he learns from the best. He learns from Robert Kraft, right?
Yeah, but so is Robert has a young girlfriend? Yeah,
I think Robert Kraft, when his wife died, had a couple younger girlfriends afterwards. I'm not sure if he currently has one. But I know there were, he was seen out with. But this is like
girlfriend or companion, like just
right.
Around
no,
something
but this
young, see something.
Yeah, but this is his girl. See something.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, is it like what is it? Is it?
They're calling this his girlfriend. Like, he's brought her as a date to like NFL events. Like, she was his date to like the Brady retirement. Bill showing up with a 24-year-old. Dude, that's younger than me.
I don't even know how those two, like, he comes from a different generation. And
apparently they talked about philosophy on the plane.
Philosophy. Okay. That's what got her.
She had a philosophy book and he helped her with her homework.
Oh my goodness.
And he showed up to her. He showed up to her cheerleading competitions.
At 22? Where's she cheering at 22?
At like some school? I don't know.
College?
I guess.
Is there a profession? Like, where's she cheering at 22?
Neither of them are employed right now. They're both unemployed.
And that's why he's probably just having fun, man. Honestly, like just unemployed. Bill Belichick.
But if this was happening for 2 years, that means like, there are some late nights while he's prepping for, the Bills on a Saturday night, last minute game prep, and she's like texting him like, "Honey, come to bed." Like, what?
No, I can't even picture that, and I don't want to picture that.
I mean, come on, Bill Belichick.
It's Bill Belichick. She's probably living a dream right now. I don't think she probably, you know what? I guarantee you right now, she don't even know who Bill Belichick is. Like, she Googled him.
She knew because she took a picture with him. He autographed the book. No. When they met on the plane, she autographed the book for him. I mean, he autographed the book for her. He autographed and wrote. He wrote Bill Belichick and wrote all the years that he won the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness!
Like, so
he knew.
Obviously,
I wonder how many drinks he had.
Somehow he got her number. Yeah, but like they were
Bloody
just
Marys. You think he had some Bloody Marys on there?
I don't know, man.
They were serving him some Bloody Marys.
You ever have like a personable conversation with Bill?
No. Well, yes.
Because apparently he's very like.
Yes and no. It was on my visit coming out.
Oh, I got you. But like apparently he's very personable.
Very brief.
Like,
it's very brief.
Yeah.
That's when I knew they weren't going to draft me.
Got you.
It was very. Oh yeah, go meet Bill. And oh yeah. And it was. Hey, happy to have you.
They belong.
That's it. Lay back, real chill, but like it was a couple minutes. Like
got it.
Out.
So all right. You and your wife, you guys are like the same age, right?
Yeah. She's a year older, but
she's a year older. That's what I thought.
That beats 50 years, but
Yeah, I mean, what's the oldest person you would date or the youngest person you would date? Like, what's the age gap you're looking at?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like
you
if
trying to get me
you're
killed?
no, okay, fine. How about this? If your daughter was 24 and she came home with a 70-year-old, you wouldn't be
If,
happy, even if it was Bill Belichick.
yeah, I'd be like, yeah, Bill. Yeah, you're all
Like
right. Bring
if your
Bill in.
daughter walked in the door with Tom Brady, you
No,
tell Tom Brady to get the hell out of my house.
you get like anyone. Like no, there's yeah, there has to be a. You have to ask yourself at 24 and 70
Where are these kids'
the
parents?
the
She's a
the
kid. Where are
conversation,
her parents?
the experience. I always think about experience. Like you're gonna have conversations that she's not gonna know anything about. Like I never seen the the pleasure of dating someone younger, like a lot younger. And I'm 35, so if I'm 20, 21, like that's crazy. Like what
Yeah.
conversations are we gonna have? What kind of conversations are we gonna have?
And that's only like 15 years,
And that's
14
15
years.
years.
This is
Exactly.
talking about 50,
50,
50.
50. Yes.
All
I
right,
mean,
let's
was he
get back
talking
to
about the
the
new CBA and like I don't know. All right.
she's
Whatever.
probably like, Bill, don't worry, you're gonna get a job soon in the league.
She
The Jets
and
are gonna
she's using
fire.
Bill to get to Tom. Trust me.
Oh yeah, that's a good that's a good thought. I didn't think of that. She's sitting at home going, Bill, don't worry, we'll get you a job. The Jets are gonna fire Robert Saleh soon. You can get the Jets job if you want, honey. We'll move to New York. It'll be beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Till she goes to that club scene in New York, she sees, oh, there's a lot of rich young guys in New York, and they're not 75 years old and grumpy.
Yeah.
You talked about scheme and player scheme in the past, how it's been with the Jets. One guy came out yesterday. This felt super random, but you said maybe he's just trying to stay relevant. Le'Veon Bell, former teammate of yours, came out and talked about, and that face tells you everything you need to know. Came out and talked about the Jets scheme when he played under one of your all-time favorites, Adam Gase. He said, I still randomly think about how pissed, this is on Twitter, how pissed I used to get in the huddle when Adam Gase would call 21 dive on a 2nd and 10. That's halfback dive from shotgun for the people that don't understand what that fully means, LOL. Sam would be saying the play out loud and just shaking his head in the huddle, LOL. You were in some of those huddles, probably not when Le'Veon was in the huddle. It was probably usually one or the other of you. But was it true? Let's start with this. Were there certain plays? Did Sam know like that Sam would get in the huddle and just start shaking his head? Did Sam know he was screwed?
I never seen it.
Okay. That's the only thing
I never seen it. And for all of those listeners, 2nd and 10 running a dive is not a bad play call. That's not a bad play call. You can run the ball on 2nd and 10.
Yeah, if Saquon
Because
Barkley's
if you
running
get 3
it,
or 4 yards, now you're talking about 3rd and 6, which is manageable, versus throwing an incomplete pass and now you're 3rd and 10. Like that's not a bad call. Like that was a bad tweet. I'm sorry to say it.
Okay.
I mean, he probably still is a little bitter that coming back, he didn't think that he. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, I mean, they paid him all that money. They were force feeding him,
and you outplayed him.
Yeah, I did average more.
Yeah,
per
you
carry.
did.
And that was one of my worst. Like I was like under 4 yards.
Dude, that was the end of your career.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think he fit the scheme. I mean, as a player, you have to understand what schemes you fit and what schemes you don't. Like when he was in Pittsburgh, that was all like a lot of duo gap scheme stuff that they were doing. That's why he was able to be patient. But they were running a lot of zone stuff over here, which is, you can't be too patient. You have to hit it in rhythm. Like it's just a different scheme. And I don't think he fit it. I think he went toward the money. I think he should have stayed in Pittsburgh, which I think he knows he should have stayed in Pittsburgh. And now he's tweeting 5 years later, what was 24 years later?
2019.
You're tweeting about a 2nd and 10.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad play call, honestly. 2nd and 10 as a running back, I want the ball because they're thinking pass anyway. They're playing soft defense. So whatever.
For the listeners,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? That's genuine because you've talked about your issues with Adam Gase in the past on this show. So if you're saying that that you agree with Gase and you're saying that Le'Veon's the one who's got this wrong, then either you hate Le'Veon more than you hated Adam Gase, or you're just being honest here.
I'm just being honest. Like there's nothing wrong with calling a second and 10. Now, was Adam Gase the best play caller? Absolutely not. Best game plan. Like when you become a veteran and you understand the game, and I'll be completely honest with you, there are a lot of guys out there playing football, but they don't know football. They're just in the league based on their
Skill.
ability, and they don't understand the X's and O's. And there are a lot of guys, unfortunately, that don't know football. I know football, and I can look at a game plan based on the defense that we're scheming and that we're breaking down the entire structure of the defense. I know what game plan isn't going to work and what's going to work. I can get up to the line of scrimmage and look across the line and tell myself that, oh, I just have to manage this run because they have us. Unless I have a quarterback who can change the play. Oh, that's a whole nother subject, though. But it's just, you got to know football, man.
And we're talking about Sam Darnold in his second year, probably not having that ability in what was a complex offense, like you talked about, to change those plays, right?
Yeah. And listen, football is broken down into situations. Second and 10, there are not many plays you can call for a second down and 10. Now, if you call a run, you get 3 yards, you're efficient on that run, then I can get to my third down play calls because defenses change their coverage from second down to third down. Maybe they go from zone to man. Like there are so many different things that go into it that, I think it's unfair to say, well, on second and 10, I'm getting, from a fan base, they're going to agree because second and 10, that's a bad play call.
Right.
But if you're a student of the game and you understand play calling, second and 10 is not a bad call.
Especially if you're running it from shotgun. You probably spread out the offense, line up like you're passing, and hand it off. You could probably get 4 yards in the middle.
And I don't even think he needs to say that out loud. Like, you don't want a handoff? That's what we brought you in here.
Right, yeah.
Why you complaining about a dive on second and 10? Don't you want the football? Like,
go
what
make
do you
a play.
Yeah. Go make a play. Like, so that's oh man. Next subject.
Let's be honest. Ball. You're coaching right now at the high school level.
Mm-hmm.
What? And I've never asked you this. What is your goal? Like, do you want to coach in the league?
If we'll tell in time, and I think
you obviously, but again, you obviously have the mind for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can be a guy who's like commanding a room full of alpha men at the NFL level?
Yeah, I think I have the persona for it. I think I have a personality for it. I'm smart. I know ball, and not only do I know it, I think I can teach it. And that was one of the things that Anthony Lynn told me. He said, man, if you can teach it, you know it. If you can sit up there and teach it, is a hell of a coach.
Yep.
He's a hell of a coach.
And Austin Eckler just came out and basically says, I credit my whole career to that guy, right? And Austin Eckler is one of the best to do it. So
I was fortunate enough to come into the league and have 2 guys, Anthony Lynn and LaDainian Tomlinson. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate enough to do that. And it taught me a lot of football. I didn't know anything. I thought I knew football until I got in that room and I sat there with LT and I listened to the questions he asked and I listened to him explain things and I listened to the conversations that he had between Anthony Lynn and like it was like, wow, like football is this man is year 10 and he's still asking these baseline questions. Like he's a student of the game. He never starts learning. Like it's like, okay, this has to be something that has to continue. And even now coaching at the high school level, I'm still learning. And when you teach, sometimes you have to remind yourself like, oh, I just taught that, but man, I need to write that down. Like I'm teaching these young men to prepare like a professional at the high school level. And we have some very good talent. We have some Division I athletes on our team, like Power 5 dudes that can play. And we have some Power 5 schools coming in and out of our locker room And what's funny now, we're getting older. I'm starting to see a lot of my friends walk through the doors now, and dudes that I played with and played against, and so it's interesting, man. But I would love to see where this takes it, man. Like I think it's a passion. I think it's something that comes natural, and not everyone can do it.
The wife and
And
kids ready for you to be
they ready.
traveling
They like,
around and you to
yeah,
be moving around
they love
again.
it. They love it.
Okay, that's
And
awesome.
so my wife knows football too, and
Yep.
she always was the one that pretty much encouraged me to get into coaching. And I wish I had gotten into it a few years sooner, but now
You're
we're
still
here.
young. You're
Yeah,
young.
we're here, and like I said, we'll see where it goes in a year or
Yeah,
two.
I'm looking forward. I'll be following along. Hopefully one day we'll be sitting there. Just give me like an assistant job. I don't need like I don't know ball. Just let
I
me
don't
like
want.
do like paperwork or something.
Oh yeah, come game plan. So that's what a lot of those. So this is what people don't understand
I could be your
behind the
PR
scenes.
guy. I know media. I could just be like the head of media relations.
Yeah. So there are guys on that staff that you have no clue who they are. They're not assistants, right? They're quality control guys. And what they do is they game plan weeks out. So the next 4 opponents, they're already breaking those guys' tendencies down. And they're bringing this preparation, this analytical and these statistics. They're breaking all these things down behind the scenes that fans don't really know about. Like they're spending hours and hours of what a team tendency is, and then handing it to the coach, and then the coach is saying, okay, based off what you show me, here is what I have to create in my game plan in order to make us successful. And then I have to present that to the players, and then the players have to be like, okay, if you know ball, look at it and be like, okay, if they blitz on 3rd down, okay, I like this because this is a man beater, blitz beater. That's when you can win football games, and that's when you're playing chess and not checkers.
All right. Awesome. You talk about scheme and different things. One of the things we learned this year during training camp or mini camp that we just had was that Sauce Gardner is going to be traveling with the number 1 receiver on the other team. So year 3 in the league for Sauce. We've been talking about this already for the last 2 years. It feels like, hey, why is he not shadowing the number 1 receiver? Why is he not going across the field? If you're lining up against Justin Jefferson and whatever it is in London this year when they're playing against Minnesota, put him on Justin Jefferson and eliminate him. And then you figure out the rest of the defense. That's what the greats do. And now Sauce Gardner is going to have an opportunity. Week 1, he's going to line up against Debo or against Ayuk and travel with them. Week 2, he's going to line up against the best receiver on whoever the hell we're playing week 2, and so on. And that I love to see. We've been talking about that, and we want to see it, and I'm excited. He's going to be lined up against Tyreek Hill twice this year, so those types of things. No more Stephon Diggs in the division, thank the heavens. But hey, that to me, that's a big deal, and I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah. And honestly, not only are you going to get a chance to see the defensive scheme change, and when one side is your best player matching up against their best player, it allows you to do things on the other side that you weren't typically able to do. And it's finally going to show us, is Sauce Gardner the best cornerback in the league?
Yeah.
And before, prior to this situation, it's always been, well, they're not throwing my way, and they're not. Well, we're about to find out, because I guarantee you there's not going to be a team over there that say, okay, he's on our best receiver, we got to go away from our best receiver. If you eliminate the best receiver, then we could play football now. Now, is the opposing team going to come out and be like, well, you know what, I don't want to, I'm afraid of Sauce Gardner? Are they going to say that? Or are they going to be like, no, we're going at Sauce Gardner? Is this going to be the year that he's exposed? Or is this going to be a year that is going to give him the credit that he deserves in his National Football League?
There's only one guy I've ever seen who, even when they put him on the number 1 receiver, teams are like, hey, we're just going to have to not throw to our number 1 receiver, and that's Darrelle Revis. How crazy was it to watch Darrelle in practice every day?
He was locked in. It was game reps for him. It was all business, man. It was a mindset that I have the privilege of seeing, like just witnessing this guy lock in the way he did, man. And he was a guy of few words, But when it was time to lock in, he locked in. And you saw everything that he did in practice translate into game. And I saw this guy week in and week out follow the number one receiver, lock up the number one receiver, play inside as the nickel if the number one guy went inside. Like I saw him get inside and guard Wes Welker in New England. And you're talking about a guy that was killing guys in the slot with the option routes and the man-to-man coverage. And I saw him just eliminate him from the game plan. So that was really fun. And I tell people he was by far the best corner because he wasn't.
It's unbelievable.
He wasn't the fastest runner. Yeah. He just knew what route you were running. Like the way he studied the game, the way he understood cuts and spacing of a receiver, and just his natural instinct of playing the game. And he would tackle. He was a corner that would tackle you too. So he was just fun to watch.
He could run on the outside with a speed guy like Randy Moss. He could run on the inside with Wes Welker. He could, take a guy like Megatron and eliminate him, a guy who was huge.
Deshaun Jackson. I seen him lock up.
Who's running these flies down. It doesn't matter what type of receiver, Des Bryant, these guys who were there, and he just locked them up week after week after week. It's crazy.
It was crazy, man. Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
It was insane, man. Like,
I don't think Sauce is quite there, but we'll find out. We'll learn a lot this year about Sauce Gardner. Yeah. Week 1, they're playing on the road, and Boomer Esiason, who used to play quarterback for the Jets, now I work with him at WFAN, came out and said that the Jets told the league, we don't want to play at home week 1 because they're scared of the bad mojo or something from last year. Like, to me, that means you're going into the season still thinking about last year. Like, you didn't erase that yet. And that is so detrimental to me. Don't you think?
Man, I think they're just trying to get away from the same old Jets. Maybe they're just trying to get away from
I know, but by continuing to try and get rid of it, you're leaning into it more. The way to get rid of it is pretend it doesn't exist. But by saying, we need to get rid of the same old Jets, you are the same old Jets.
Yeah, until you prove us otherwise. And listen, I'll be cheering them on. That's going to be a very, very good. That's going to be challenging for us to go on the road, play a very good team. But it's going to be a test. It's going to put you early on to see where you are.
That game,
evaluation.
Both great offensive line, great defensive line on both sides. Yeah,
explosive players on both sides.
Yeah,
I think that game is going to come down to the quarterback.
Who do you like, Aaron Rodgers or Brock Purdy? If Aaron Rodgers shows up, who knows?
Oh, my goodness.
Do you remember? So speaking of the opening night, Woody Johnson posted hey, throwback to the last time we were in San Francisco, and he posted one of your touchdown runs from San Francisco. I think it was a touchdown run. Yeah, you had
that was an overtime.
And then somebody else posted recently a run that you had wearing the Color Rush uniforms against Buffalo. Someone it resurfaced on Twitter. Look at this block, and you
should have scored
7 tackles.
I should have scored.
I can't. I talk to you all. We talk on the phone. I see you face to face. I still can't connect that it's the same dude. Do you sometimes watch these highlights and man, I was really that guy. I was that motherfucker. Come on. That's awesome.
It's funny now coaching and then, obviously helping out with my son. All his friends are like, Coach, I saw this video on TikTok and this and that. And because I'm so laid back, man. And
yes.
I think it shocks people.
It's crazy. I can't imagine you being that guy who's breaking tackles and rowdy like that.
Oh, yeah.
And even when you get tackled, you get right up and you're just kind of calmly walking. You go back to the laid back guy that you are.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been my game, man. Just get back to the huddle. And the way to manipulate them, the way to get under the skin is to do it over and over and over again without saying a word or showing her emotion.
So is there a lot of trash talking? Because I know we saw Anthony Edwards in the playoffs this year where he's hitting these shots and he's talking to KD and he's talking to all these guys. Does that happen in the NFL, or is it mostly hey, get back in the huddle, keep to yourself? And
they're talking.
There's talking the whole time.
They're talking, man.
What kind of stuff? Without getting too graphic.
You very graphic. Where you want to grab somebody personal. And it gets personal sometimes. But it's weird though because it's all personal and it's all forget you and do that. And then after the game, it's man, I ain't mean nothing about it. Hey, and it's all fun. It's all fun, man. You just trash talk. You playing with a lot of emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. So it's like it is in like sometimes you see these mic'd up clips and you think like, it's a little bit forced, like they're doing it because
Oh
they know
no,
they're
that's
wearing
it.
a mic or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. There's certain players you probably have to just put his mic on mute because it's just censored.
But some guys you're saying for real, like no mics, nothing. They're just out there like talking the whole time. I bet like offensive linemen just talk. Just
No,
don't
man,
stop
the
talking.
worst. No. The worst are the DBs.
Oh yeah.
The little DBs talk the most.
It's like because I could truck you.
Yeah, like the little DBs, man. Like they talk the most, and I don't know why.
All right, I gotta ask you before we go. Last thing, did you send the jerseys yet? We're gonna keep asking this every time.
They're in my trunk now. So they made it out of the basement, and now they're in the trunk. And you know what? I'll send them off today.
All right, you'll have to.
Boy
that
Scout,
was a surprise.
Boy Scout
that was
honor.
a surprise. I appreciate that. I saw that you posted that. I was like, I honestly don't know.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Give me your address again.
I'll send it to you.
Because it's been so long. Yeah.
Blur it out when you post the picture, but I want a picture today. You're putting a picture on social media today of you sending out the jerseys. How about that?
Okay. And then you want the white one signed. No, you want the green one.
Green one signed and the white one plain. Yeah, the white one I'm gonna wear. I hope it fits me.
Okay.
I mean,
it should.
I'm not wearing pads.
It should.
I'm gonna wear the white Bilal Powell jersey and the black Jets helmet. I'm gonna go to training camp and hold up a sign that says "You can't give Tarik Cohen number 29."
Yes, please do that.
And I'll put a QR code for the podcast on the back so that people.
You need to hit up Olivia.
All right, hey, get me in touch. Let's go.
Hit up Olivia and say, hey, make sure this is covered. Tell the cameraman to come over here.
All right, hey, look at that. Well, let's do this. So, when are you coming to New York? Let's be honest here.
Man, I don't know. It's just like
you got coaching now, right? You have camp.
Well, no, we have a dead period now.
Right. Okay. So you have off for like the next couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks, and then after that, man, hopefully if we make a run, we will be till December.
Oh God,
the championship in December.
Hey, you got to get here. So that the next couple weeks, this is the time, man.
I'll be in Nashville. Come down to Nashville.
When's that?
That's the second week.
Second week of what?
September.
The Jets.
They play in Nashville. That's like 2 hours away.
September. Oh man, I would love to go to Nashville.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go down, and we have an opening week that week. So
let me look. When is that? Do you know when that is? That falls out. It would be probably Sunday the 15th.
Yeah, sometime
September 15th.
And we have a bye week that Friday, so I think I'm gonna go down on that Friday, Saturday.
I might be able to make that work, actually. Yeah, that should work. We wanted to go to September to Nashville this summer, but maybe we go in the fall.
Yeah, and it's still gonna be hot and nice. So
yeah. All right, dude. Let's be in touch about that. I'm not even kidding. That would be awesome. We could do like a little get together, have some fans come out, say hi, say what's up. That would be fun. All right.
Yeah.
So let's party in Nashville with BP. And I know some guys from the radio station are going also. I'm pretty sure BT is going, Brendan Tierney. So BP and BT. Hey, how about that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, all right. I will I'll talk to him maybe and ask him what his plans are for that. All right. So until next time, everybody, like, subscribe, share the podcast, and maybe next time I'll be wearing a Bilal Powell jersey. Who knows? So until then, we'll see y'all later. All right.